What's up, JoAnna?
Hey, Millie.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
Welcome to an episode of All the Rumors Are True. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
I know you have a big girl job. I like to say big girl job because people seem to think that women in the workplace still somehow in 2025, right? You know, women in the workplace, we're still kind of, paid less and worth more.
Both true.
Yeah. I'm saying that being facetious, but also not, right?
Right.
So before we get into your career and all of that, I would like to welcome JoAnna Benavides to another episode. And our daughters go to the same school. They're the same age. Mm-hmm. They're not in the same class because the classes get too big and it's a random pick. And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you and I made a big enough fuss, we could probably get them in the same class again because they've been in the same. So our daughters have been going to the same school since they were like 3 or 4, right?
Yeah.
Very long time. It's private school in the vicinity around here where we live. And I want to talk a little bit about how I met you. So when our daughters were going into, I think it was pre-K, and that was COVID times, right?
It was COVID times,
right?
Yeah, I remember.
And there were only 2 pre-K classes, right? And at the time, I knew no one when I put her in that school. Yeah, I knew no one.
Yeah, I didn't know many people.
Yeah, I knew no one, which you're a lot more social than I, which is kind of an oxymoron because I'm very social, but when it comes to school and stuff, I'm not. I don't really engage with parents and every parent, which we'll get into down the road, but you're in journalism, you're in news. Right. So it makes sense why you want to know everybody. And me, I'm like, here's your tuition. Here's my kid. Bye. I don't want to talk to any of the parents. I don't need judgment, especially being in a private school, a single mom that was never married. And, it's a Christian school.
It is a Christian.
And, when you're a Christian, having a child out of wedlock is very frowned upon.
I think most of my life is frowned upon there.
Well, hell,
True.
I think my whole life is frowned upon if we're being 100. But I sent out these invites to my daughter's, I think it was her 4th birthday party. I think it was her 4th or 5th. I blow out my daughter's birthday parties. I go insane.
They're always great. Yeah.
Oh, I go insane, right? And I didn't know any of y'all in the other classroom across the way. So I was like, you know what? It's COVID. Our poor little babies are having to wear masks. And I'm going to just go ahead and send an invite to everyone in the pre-K realm at this school. Mm-hmm. And never met you. Didn't know what you looked like. Never met your daughter. Everybody was in masks. I probably saw you when we'd have to walk in and drop off. But you walked in to a birthday party. And, there's a good 56. It's when I rented out the Maggiano's hall.
I remember it.
Wait, again, I go all out for my daughter.
Let's go all out.
No holds barred when it comes to my daughter. I do the most for her. And you walked in. Everyone in the room was like, who is that? That little girl. And I'm like, I think they might be at the wrong party. I don't know what's going on.
I just go around crashing kids' birthday parties.
Well, I mean,
hey guys, what's up?
I mean, you kind of did though.
I kind of did.
You kind of did. You just walked right in there and go right. And I had this huge buffet of amazing food. I had a face painter, I had a manicurist, I had a balloon artist,
I remember it
all the things. And you just walk in with her and everyone knew everybody except you. And we're like, who is this?
I think I remember Angel. Angel at the party, which is weird because, of course, now I know him much better through you. And
because he goes, who is that? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, oh, well, I'm going to go up to her.
Yeah.
Of course he did. Very on brand for him. And you're just like, oh, well, our daughters go to the same school. And I'm like, that little girl is not in her class. So then all of us were awkward because we didn't know how to like approach you, right? So then I was like, okay, I'm the host. I'm paying for this party. I'm the host of this party. Like, I need to walk up. And I walked up to you, and the second that I said, hi, I'm my daughter's mom. I don't use names on here. I was like, I'm my daughter's mom. And you were like, this is my daughter. They're in the same grade, just not the same class. Thank you so much for inviting us. It means the world to me. And when you told me that, I was like, damn, there really still are nice people.
Oh.
Because the world's kind of become assholes.
Yeah.
Right? And you were so kind, and you were just like, yeah, that's my daughter. No. We've never looked back since.
Who knew I'd be a pain in your ass that many years later?
Yeah, but you're
literal pain in your ass.
You are a pain in my ass, but it's a pain in my ass that I embrace and I love.
No, I know.
So that's how we met. Okay, right? But I want to talk about this because I feel like not a lot of people do. And I want you to feel free and tell your story. But what I do know is you were born with one leg and your intestines outside of your body.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hot mess.
Well, it's okay. We're all hot messes. But talk about that.
So, I was born, I'm considered an amputee.
Okay.
So I had a foot I'd never had a knee. So I had the first part of my leg, then a foot. So my parents were like, well, we don't want a freak show. So they amputated the foot.
Oh my God. No.
And that's how I'm able to kind of get the prosthesis.
Okay.
So that's why I'm technically considered an amputee, because my foot was amputated from my body. And then the other stuff, I don't remember. I was basically an infant. So they just stuffed me back like a turkey.
But you have a big scar.
I have scars up the wazoo. I remember, your friend Milton. I was like, anything for this? He's like, that's a little intense. But, he's like, that's not like a little sunspot there. But we'll look into that.
Yeah, he's like, so, you should probably see a surgeon for that, not a dermatologist.
Not like some cream on that shit.
Yeah. cream ain't going to fix that, homie.
No, there's not enough.
Yeah.
So, so that's pretty much it. And it's something I've dealt with, my whole life.
Your entire life. And how old are you, Jo? 42?
42, yeah.
Okay. And talk to me. I know you grew up in Rhode Island, but I do know that y'all had a house in Corpus on the island, right? So y'all were always back and forth, but you grew up.
Well, and actually, as a child and stuff, I wasn't really back and forth too much. We came maybe once a year.
Well, yeah, because you're in school and you're one of four children, right? So everybody's in school. Yeah. So you can't go back and forth. Right?
Yeah. We were all in school, and my parents, that's expensive to have a family of 6. So we would drive,
from Rhode Island to Corpus Christi, that's a haul.
Yeah. So we would drive, and
it's like this long on a map.
I didn't even know my mom had that house. She had that house. I used to say since she was my age, but that's like when I was in my 20s. But she had the house, and I never even knew she had the house because we'd go and stay at my grandpa's, but she'd always rent it out. And so it wasn't until I came down here to permanently to Texas and I always tell the story. I don't know if you've been able to meet a lot of my Rhode Island friends, but my best friend, I stayed with her when I recently lost my dad.
Jackie.
Jackie. There you go. Yeah. And she's like, remember when you told me you're going to Texas for 2 weeks and you never came back? Because it kind of just happened like that. My parents are like, go stay with your grandpa and, see what's going on down there.
And you had graduated from Rhode Island
University of Rhode Island.
Okay.
And I didn't think I would. I thought I was coming back. They knew I wasn't coming back.
You were like,
because they knew that I would get more opportunities.
Okay.
And in some ways, right now I feel like I could branch out, go back there. I've had opportunities, as you know. That's my favorite story with Millie. Guess where I got a job offer? Bitch, you ain't going nowhere.
I tell her that all the time. I'm like, okay, she gets job offers and we're going to talk about what you do next, but she gets job offers all the time. She'll call, Millie, I got a job offer in this state. And I'm like, bitch, you ain't going nowhere.
Nope.
Because you're not.
I'm not really.
You're not. Even though but okay, so let's backtrack a little. So you move it, then you met your husband, but that didn't work out, but it's okay.
Now ex, yeah.
Yeah. He still gave you your daughter. So that's what he served his purpose.
Yeah.
So you're in TV news.
Yeah.
And I find your story very interesting because you did not go to college for what you're doing. Didn't you go for marketing?
Well, no, I went for communications and
okay, well, I was comm too.
Yeah.
But so, I don't run a news station.
No. And I, to be fair, like, I always did kind of think I would do, television, some sort of, but to do it, like, to actually do it is a little different, right? Like, I thought I wanted to be a reporter. And then these days with like photographers being a thing of the past and lugging around your own shit, like, not only physically was that not really feasible for me. I mean, they have to make exceptions, right? This is the day and age, but at the same time, it's like, especially Texas heat, none of that. So
did you, sorry, let me stop right there. Did you find, okay, so one of the first times you came to my house, I have a pool, and you were like, I was on the swim team. And I was like, wait, that shows my own ignorance, right? And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, you have one leg. Yeah. And that just showed how stupid I was.
That's not
Girl,
stupid,
you got in that pool. You could swim faster than a fucking alligator.
Probably after a few cockies. I got
maybe there might have been some cockies involved. Oh, you like the whiny.
I do like the whiny.
You like the whiny, but you swim real fast.
Real fast for someone.
But I want to commend you because we live in a day and age of you would never have to go to college. You would never have to work. You could claim disability and live off the government your whole life. And you are the epitome of fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I might have one leg. I might have other elements. I'm going to prove all y'all wrong, and I'm going to rock this shit. And I don't tell you enough, which I should, but like boss bitch.
Thank you.
Most people would crutch, and I know that's silly to say, but they would crutch on your disability. And you have not let your disability define you.
Thank you.
And girl, that's commendable.
Thank you. I will say that, like, as much as I'm, I guess there's a different dynamic to my family, right? But I will give it to my parents that they always treated me. I had to do chores just like my other siblings. I got disciplined just like my other siblings.
So they didn't cater to you and coddle you.
They set the bar for, look, bitch, you're going to have a normal life. And so
I
had to figure it out, right?
Love that.
Now, as I got older, which is ironic, when I got older, especially my dad, rest in peace. Like,
rest in peace. Her dad passed away almost a year ago.
He did, he always, here's some extra money, or, yeah, you can do that, or what do you need? Like, as I got older, he kind of helped me a little bit more, probably. But,
and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do love that they treated you the same, because I have friends with autistic children, things like that, and they definitely coddle them, and I'm like, you're just hindering them for adulthood. Yeah. You have to have some sort of sympathy, empathy with it, but at the same time, no. Yeah. Reality doesn't care. Yeah. The real world does not care. You got one eye, you got one leg, you got a stutter.
My daughter doesn't
they don't care.
She's like, get up, stop hurting yourself, Mom. Get up.
Well, no, your daughter gives not one.
She does not. She's just
not one shit.
And I think it's
a driving force, though.
Goes to the same thing, and that I don't want her to see me like that, and
but you do.
We've had a couple of rough patches.
You do push yourself a little too hard
with some incidents lately, but
with things which we're not going to go into. But you do push yourself a little too hard, because I do know, regardless of how you think or feel about yourself, I do know in your mind you still wake up and you fight the good fight, and you're like, nobody's going to treat me different because of this, which I feel like sometimes is to your detriment, because you don't realize like that you need to take a beat. Yeah. Like you are just go. You work more than anybody I know. You work longer than anybody I know. And your prosthetics like heavy, like it's not
Millie, get my leg. She's like dragging it like a dead body.
Girl, it weighs about as much
CSI
as
up in here.
Well, you and I watch a lot of Dateline.
Love
I
that
feel
Dateline.
I'm Keith Morrison.
Yeah, I know.
And I pulled the leg
to the spare room.
to the spare bedroom. But I love that we can joke about it, right? Like you made humor of your situation. You're not draining the government. You're not draining your family. You're like, no, I'm going to prove you all wrong and I am going to kill it. And you crush it. You are so good at your job. So you now work for a news station here, Telemundo, which is NBC affiliate.
Yeah, well, it's NBC owned and operated.
Okay. But you worked for KSAT.
KSAT, Ken's.
Yeah. So all the local stations.
Yeah.
And I love, because, you're boss, and I love, there's days that we're here or whatever, and you're like, hey, I have a conference call. And I love nobody treats you like you're an idiot.
No.
Right? Because I feel like a lot of people, when you have some sort of just ailment in life, I feel like everybody kind of looks at you, oh, that poor little darling, we need to help her. And it's like, no, like the people that work for you and with you, like they respect you. Yeah. They don't come at you in any sort of way, and you get shit done. Yeah. Like you're very, very good at your job.
Thank you.
And I think another thing that I could never do, we have daughters, only children. I'm an only child, but our daughters are only children.
Yeah.
And you literally cover murders, kidnappings, molestation cases with little children. And then you somehow turn it off and you pick up your daughter from school and you do homework and you try to act like you didn't see the most gruesome things all day, every day, 7 days a week. And you become mom.
There's some you don't go back from, right? Like Uvalde. That coverage will always stay with me. I know we've talked about that, right? As moms,
I'm from Uvalde.
Right.
I was actually born in San Antonio, but raised in Uvalde.
Yeah.
And we still have a ranch there, and we have a little ranch house like outside of Uvalde. We still have my grandmother's home there. Right. I'm from there, and that I'm not even in the news, but it's like that's where I'm from. And when that happened, and I only knew one of the little girls that was killed, because I left Uvalde, when I was very young. My dad left Uvalde when I was 8, so it's been a long time. But I still keep in touch with people that were born and raised, because I know their parents and their grandparents. We all went to the First Baptist Church in Uvalde, and I know the judge. I still have deep roots in Uvalde, and when that happened, I like how you're saying there's things you don't come back from. I feel like what happened in Uvalde, not that the other shootings weren't as horrific, but that one to me really sticks out. And it's my hometown, and then you as a mom.
Yeah. And I went, I think, not to toot my own horn, but my gift is like you said, kind of like the gift of gab or being a personable person. So they kind of put me in the front lines of where I would reach out to people, but these are people, I make phone calls to, I call them, I find their numbers. We'll discuss that. But, I reach out to them and but then sometimes you go in the field and it's not the mom's there or the dad's there and it's not who they've made that connection with, and they'll walk away from the interview. So I go to the field and I'm like, hi, I'm JoAnna. I'm the one that you made that connection with. I'm the one that's spoken to you. And that's how we got a lot of the interviews, along with a lot of teamwork, right? I'm not saying
no, you're not discrediting.
I do know that any good journalist will know that the reason you get stories is because of the connections you make.
And because you care.
Because you
care, number one.
You're relatable, right? You're not somebody on the phone calling. Because a lot of times, especially in my community, let's not play games. I will say, I'm Telemundo, click. I'll say, I'm Telemundo, NBC Universal. I'm here, and this is who I am. And, they want to open up to you. And so
and you're also a single mother of a daughter, and it could have our daughters go to the same school. It could have very easily been our daughter's school.
Remember that day there was a scare?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it wasn't long after.
It was very shortly after Uvalde.
They told the kids it was like a fire drill, I think. Or
yeah.
something
And
like
all
that,
of us are up there with rage.
And I'm over there getting mad, kind of trying to get interviews. A little both.
A little bit. I mean, it's okay to like lean on your resources in times like that.
Yeah.
Anybody that has a child, even people that don't have children, they can understand.
Yeah. And
you mess with me, let's go toe to toe with me.
Yeah.
But when you're playing with my kid or children, just children, we don't do that. We don't play like that. No, not at all. But I just, a question I've never asked you. We've been friends for years. Did you ever get turned away or anything because of your disability?
Well, that's hard to say, right? Because no one's going to own up to it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
You're not going to
that's a fair
go. Like I recently went to an interview for a pretty high position job.
Okay.
Not, it was with a PIO office for a big office here. And I'm not saying, I know the person that got it is very qualified, but I was all a little crazy because it was something else we won't get into. But, I've had some injuries lately because of another incident. So it's been a little bit of a wild ride. And I thought it'd be a good idea to have one crutch instead of two crutches and I was walking like I was a crazy person.
Well, first off, you already walk crazy. You walk so fast with one leg.
I was like,
my fat ass is like 10 feet behind you with two.
Yeah. And
I'm like, what?
I'm like, they probably just thought I was insane. Like when I was sitting and I was interviewing and I was telling my stories, but at the end of the day, it's someone that's going to represent. I mean, if it had been like 1 week later and I was healed, who knows, And in the end, I love what I do. So, I'm happy. But the thing is just interesting to, when you say that, I don't know, maybe.
So nobody has blatantly though told you.
No, I mean,
they'd get sued.
Kind of like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Right. Well, yeah, but some people are stupid. They don't know. They're not litigious and they don't know. And they're just like, oh, well, if you had two legs, you'd be better.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are idiots that probably would have said that in 1999.
Well, not career-wise, but I have a funny story. As you know, my mom, in the wake of everything with my dad, she's planning to take me and my daughter to Italy.
Yes.
And so
I bought you a cane.
You did.
To take.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like this gate. Well, I don't want to say the name of the company, but she's gone traveling with them before. And so then I'm like looking on the site and everything. And it was like in real fine print, like, we highly recommend your able body and in good shape. Meantime, I'm like walking around with one crutch, two crutch, who knows? Like, I got this. I'm like, just leave me at a pub and take Stella around. I'll be fine. I really won't be able to walk by the time you come back, but it doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
Because it's like, and
no,
I'm like,
God.
Mom, you couldn't have picked a better trip. Like,
right. You're like,
hiking trip for your daughter with one leg.
But honestly, the best part about me becoming friends with you, because when I first met you, honestly, I thought you maybe just sprained a knee the way you walk, because you walk fine.
Or I get like the hip, because sometimes my hip protrudes.
No, I know.
So someone will be like, oh, do you have like a fake hip, or I don't know, whatever they call it. So
you're like, no, this is my ass. This is all my ass right here.
We won't even get into the booty, but that's okay.
No, you got a good butt. Yeah. You have a way better butt than I do.
But anyway, yeah. So
no, but I just have to say, one of the best parts of you. I mean, you have a huge heart, and you were obviously raised right, and all the things you can say about somebody. Well, fuck, you could be raised wrong and still turn out good, but. I do have to say this about you is you bring levity to your situation. You don't bring doom and gloom. Like, you joke about it, like you're self-deprecating, but it's so great. And you're self-deprecating, it's not really because you're insecure at all, but you're just funny.
Thank you.
I mean, you are. Like, every time you tell me something
And it's not,
every time you call my phone, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, what happened now?
No, she's like,
Or I get a text, Millie, explanation. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, something happened. But you always bring light to your situation. And I feel like, and this is me getting maybe a little too political or judgy. When I ran nursing homes back in the day, these idiots would kill themselves with diabetes. They wouldn't take their meds and they'd get amputated. And they would just milk the government, their family, GoFundMe, the city. Let's do barbecue plates, all this. No, I do not care. You knew you had diabetes. You didn't take the meds. So you lost your leg on purpose. So get out of my face. Yeah. Again, you could be that same way. You could live off the government your whole life and live a very, very decent life. You'd have a house, you'd have a car, you'd have everything with no job. Yeah. And you fight against that. And it's so admirable. It's so admirable. And I don't tell you enough, mainly because you make me mad all the time.
Well, I think like you too, like we're both like careers are a big part of it, but just who we are. That's why I connected so well with you. You know, like you're a boss lady too. You're a great leader, you know, for your daughter. And I think that's what we want to show, right? Like we don't want to show like there's ways around the system or you can live like this your whole life because you got to take accountability. You got to take, I have my struggles. You know most of them.
No, I know you do. But you overcome them.
And I do have demons. Maybe they're not all related to my leg, but I'm sure there's some buried meaning there somewhere. But, you know, we all like struggle. But you can't make it the pivot of yourself. You know?
No, you just can't. But again, I'm commending you for that because anyone else in your situation would. Not anyone, but 9 out of 10 people. 1,000% would. What I saw just working in medicine those years, you know, you got yourself there and you just want to stay comfort in all the taxes I'm paying. And you're born that way and you're like, hey, I don't have another option. Yeah. And I'm not going to let this define me. And I do think you having a daughter, I know your pregnancy was beyond difficult.
It was. I mean, yeah, I went into obviously early labor and
but I mean, but your waist, you know, is this big to begin. I mean, you're very small.
But I was never like bedridden. I mean, for that small time, I was still swimming. I was still, because I do believe like if you stay active and you stay fit and I joined the JCC again because I'm starting to feel like blah. But now that I can walk, I want to at least go and do my arms and do, you know, I used to have a personal trainer. So it's like, I know that I want to get back there because that helps mentally, that helps physically.
It helps with everything.
You know?
It helps with everything. But I admire you. Oh, you drive me nuts. Yeah. But I admire you.
But I admire you too. I mean, you're a loyal friend. And there's not a lot of those out there these days.
I am that. You know, I will take that compliment because I have very few people that are allowed in my circle and in my home. And the ones that I do are the ones that I know if I called in the middle of the night, you're one of them. You know everything I'm going through right now. And again, we're not going to talk about it for a while on the pod. But when we do talk about it, you're one of the ones. There have been nights I haven't slept for days and haven't eaten for days. And I'll call you at 2 a.m. and you'll pick up the phone and I can't even hardly get a word out because I'm crying so much or vomiting diarrhea from my nervousness and my sadness and anxiousness. And you're like, I'm on the way. Yeah. I'm on the way. Yeah. And I adore you. I adore your daughter. Our daughters have a great bond. And I'm glad we met. And I you know, God knew we needed to meet, right? He knew that you needed to wobble your ass in.
Yeah. Well, you quite literally picked me up off the ground.
I did.
We'll get into that, but I quite literally.
I quite literally did.
And no doing of my own.
Oh no, it was not.
It wasn't a pill popping night.
It was not. It was not your fault at all.
You know, and so I mean, But that's what good friends do for each other, right? And I think there's something to be said with like a bond, especially between moms, especially between women.
Single moms that work very high stressful jobs. And we lean on each other always.
Yeah.
When I need help with her, when you need help with her, we lean on each other and we make it work.
Yeah.
And
even like what something as small as helping my daughter yesterday with her haircut. I know your situation, it's probably tough for you, but you know, you did that for me because, you know. So.
That's what friends do, girl.
No, I'm getting teary.
No, it's okay. That's what we're here for. This pod is real. Yeah. We're talking about real life. None of this is fronted. Like, we're talking about real life. Yeah. And when you text me and said, hey, you know, can you cut her hair? I was like, absolutely. And it was great to see her. It was great to cut her hair. And she's a little bit scared of Miss Millicent.
She's a little scared. But
she's more scared of me than you.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. Well, no, because she knows how OCD and nuts I am. And my house is like, da, 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 da. Yeah. And it was just, it was great to see all yesterday and her come over. And I'm like, hey, like, okay, you know, I'm going to cut your hair. How much do you want off? She's like, I don't want any. And I look at you and you're like,
I don't want any.
You're like an inch. I took 3. So neither one of y'all knew what was going on.
We had no idea.
And then I start thinning it up. She's the thickest hair. She doesn't get it from you.
No.
You got 17 hairs on your head, girl.
No, I know. I don't know where she gets it from.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Because I've seen her dad. I mean, he's got thick hair, I guess. But
I guess at some point.
Anyway.
Subject.
Anyway. So I wanted to have you on because we're very good friends, but I want every side of stories told, right?
Right.
Just truthfully, I'm doing this pod for fun. Right. This is not a job. I'm not getting paid. This is something I feel like people need to get back to reality. And as Auntie says, hey, it might be bad, but it could get worse. Right. And every time I start to get low on myself, I get a text from you. And then it snaps me. And I'm like, she has overcome every obstacle in her life. Get your ass up and go. Yeah. And I just want you're a motivation.
Thank you.
You are. That. You are. And you're a boss bitch. You got a great job. And I really admire you. I admire everything you do every day. And I know every day is a struggle, but you don't let anybody else know it. I know it is.
Thank you.
But you don't tell anybody that.
No.
You don't. You just don't. And I just wanted to talk about it. I just really wanted to shine light on how great you are.
Thank you. But I think what's helped me be successful, you know, at my TV station too, is having good, empathetic leaders, right?
Oh, like, your boss is the best.
There are times where I've said like, hey, like my leg is on fire. Like I need to stay home.
The good one or the other one?
Well, both, you know, when I had my thing with my knee and then the prosthesis and having the extra strain on my prosthesis because of my injury to my good leg, you know, all of that. And so
I shouldn't have said good one or bad one.
That's true. And so one literally isn't there. So you're not wrong.
I know, but I shouldn't have said that.
That's okay.
I'm going to get canceled.
This is a bad one, Millie.
Hey, I got a good boob and a bad boob, right? You know. I look like a cow on one and the others.
Not. You always say that.
You know, not.
But I think it's important to have compassion in corporate life, you know.
No. Your boss, I've never met her. We're not going to say her name, but I've never met her. But, I mean, she legit has your back, dude.
Yeah, she does.
Like, has your back.
She does.
You lost your dad, and you call her, and you're like, hey. And you're out of whatever days you had her. She's like, go.
Yeah.
Go. Like, you have a good boss. And you have a great team.
Great team.
And that matters.
Yeah.
That matters. You got good people around you. Minus your ex-husband. He's the worst. But as soon as he tells you something silly, then you text me and I get you back in reality. And I'm like, don't listen to somebody who has more moles than common sense.
Oh my God. We're going there. He's going to listen to this and be like, ah!
He ain't going to listen to anything with me. He hates me.
Well,
and you know what?
Mutual.
It's good that you hate me. You should be scared of me.
Now this is just going to get sanctioned.
Oh, no.
But I mean, yeah. I don't know where it's going with that.
No, it's good. It's good. No, sorry. You're getting off topic, whatever. You married him and you have your daughter, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I've seen more divorces than marriages. I'm 38. Basically, everyone in my life is divorced and or on their second marriage. I had enough wherewithal to know to not get married. And I'm not saying I'll never get married, but yeah. Talk to me. I'd rather go to Taco Bell. I don't know. Talk to me. I'd rather go to Taco Bell and come back here and watch Younger, right? And nobody bothers me. I watch my show, ate my tacos, and drink my hint, and then it's like, night. I don't have to check in with you. I don't have to do all that.
Right.
Don't you feel like a little bit?
It is a relief.
More free, right?
I mean, it's funny because I was just talking to my therapist, and she was like, well, if you want, like, write down the qualities you want in a guy. And I'm like, not to move in. Because I just I feel like I don't want somebody to ruin.
No cohabitation.
I don't want someone to ruin mine and sell his peace. I want someone to be
okay.
Part
Hold
of
on,
lives.
That's good. That's one of the smarter statements I've heard you say when it comes to relationships.
Yeah, I'm really bad at them.
Oh, no, you're bad at relationships.
Yeah.
That's why you should not get married.
Yeah. Really
Hey, real recognize real.
Yeah.
I haven't been married for a reason. I know. You should not do that.
No. Not with any of the guys.
Well, at least with the guys you date.
Yeah.
We'll find you a better one.
Yeah, it'll come along.
Nah, we don't really need to.
No.
We just might be like these ladies right
Golden
here.
Girls?
We just might be Golden Girl. We might sell both of our houses and buy a bigger one. And the girls will be in college.
What do they call that? Like compound or something?
Well, no, just a big house.
Okay. We don't need to go and
Okay,
invest
first
in,
off, this
Who's
isn't
gonna
like
raise the
Jehovah's
cattle?
Witness shit. Mormon.
I went a little spinny there.
Yeah, okay. No, we're not trying to be sister wives. We're just trying to, live together with a pool.
Oh,
and our daughters will be in college and we'll rock out. And I'll still be sitting here recording this pod.
That's good.
I really will be, because nothing's stopping me from this.
No.
I love this. This is a hobby. This is for fun. And I love how diverse the people I know are and how I can talk about everything. But yeah, we're going to be right here. We're going to be the Golden Girls. We got to find 2 more. Or not. We can just buy a big house and the girls will be in college and we'll fly for parents' weekend. And,
Oh my God, that'll be fun.
Bullshit like that.
Can't wait. But I think we have more adventures before
I can wait. We're going to have...
that comes.
We got periods coming, girl. Oof. On that note,
Okay.
thank you, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
I love you, baby. Hey,
You too.
and I hope this reaches people that have the same.
That's the one thing I want to do, and just it'd be more.
Spread awareness.
Yeah, spread awareness and be more of a mentor, I guess.
Love that.
I don't know if I'm a mentor, but at least a resource.
Yes, you
A
are a
resource for
mentor.
people.
Like, you didn't let this stop you at all. Bitch, I had both legs and I wasn't on the swim team. Hello? Well, to be fair,
stories.
I grew up in South Texas. I don't even think anybody had a swimming pool. So
No.
there's that. But I love you.
Thank you.
And
Same.
boss bitch,
Appreciate
keep doing what you're doing. Keep rising. And we'll have you back again.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, baby.
Cheers.
Love you.
Bye.
Cheers.
That was so good.
Was it?